Some of it is rehab for people who've had dramatic brain injuries. I think that's an opportunity for a driver's ed company or third party, maybe like myself, to put together some driving simulators, but they are very expensive. At your local computer stores, there are micro centers across the country. If you want to go and see a real life driving simulator, go to your local micro center, but it costs over $10,000. It's a triple screen, fully enclosed driving simulator with a steering wheel that has over 10 pounds of torque. You have a brake, you have a clutch, you have a shifter, but there's a 5090 video card. I don't know if you guys or ladies are into video games, but a 5090 video card, because of the memory, costs over $5,000. So you can get a really cheap low-end driving simulator, or you can get a really high-end driving simulator. I think that would be a good selling point for a driver's education school, but some parents will say, you're on a computer, you need to get on the road. So I think you're not your parent anymore. You're not born in the 80s. You're not born in the 90s, guys. You grew up on a computer. You grew up with a laptop or an iPad in your crib, because that's what your parent did. So I think that's an opportunity. And I think if a driving company or individual had access and brought it into class and then made some videos with your parents' permission and posted it on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, I think it will be a big selling point. So that could be an opportunity. That was a great question. Let's keep moving. When will we start in-person driving? Will it be at the same times as the online class? The answer is no. You can't drive during your class. Think about it. You don't have a twin. Well, we all do have a twin. You're going to drive after class, okay? It could be a 12 to 2, a 2 to 4, a 4 to 6. There are at least 10 students in the class. So once we get your instructor on track, he or she, they'll send me their schedule, and then I will schedule you based on their schedule. Because the way the company has it set up, I'm the in-class instructor. I'm responsible for attendance. I'm responsible for going over the curriculum, making sure you're test prepped and ready. Guys, I've done this 24 years. I know what to do. So you will drive after class. Now, some instructors who are putting in work, they might go a 6 to 8. But remember, this is an online class. So you're going to drive before class, 6 to 8. A few of you are dedicated, but this means your parents have got to get up at 5. And your parents are going to say, are you crazy? I'm not getting up at 5. You feel me? But so many parents are like, you're worth it. You're my son. You're my daughter. And they will do that. But you're going to be driving after class. So don't stress. Don't worry. You will get your information. But you will be driving after class during the week or on the weekend. And we all have schedules. I have my schedule laid out to August. I have some days off in case the car needs to get serviced, days off if I need to go help my family member, days off so I can power lift, run, days off so I can work on the race engine, days off so I can take care of the house, because I have a life outside of driver's ed. So think about that, right? You have a life outside of driver's ed too, but you need to make this number one. Let's keep moving. Do you know the name of the instructor? We already answered that question. I have his name written down. Don't stress. He will be contacting you. And to put it to rest, he had hip surgery. And some people do have surgeries. They want you to get up as fast as possible, but he's on heavy, heavy pain medication. And trust me, you don't want to be driving after you had your hip cut open and they put a new socket and ball in there. It's a very evasive surgery. So be patient. But remember, I'm talking to kids who aren't patient. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm just being real with you. How long will each drive? Because I already read that to you. Our location, you have to have 6 hours of driving, 4 hours of observation, and 24 hours of class. Today's Thursday. Monday is 2 hours. Tuesday is 2 hours. Wednesday is 2 hours. Thursday is 2 hours. 2, 4, 6, 8. We already had 8 hours of class. Okay? So we've got to stay with the state standard. If a driving school is not compliant with the state, they can lose their license, they can be put on probation, or they can be put out of business. I'm going to be compliant. If you miss days, you're going to make it up. If I miss one of you coming in, it will be looked at because this session's recorded. Let's keep going. Where do we drive and when do we drive? Same driving question. You're going to be driving in your local communities, in your neighborhoods. You're going to make 12 right turns, 12 left turns. You're going to be practicing pulling in driveways. Once you get comfortable in your local area, it's called gradual exposure. Then from there, you're going to be driving on the main road. You're going to practice pulling out from your sub onto the main road. You're going to practice making right turns in traffic. You stop, you look left, you look right. You're not looking down at your hands. You're not looking at your feet. You're not staring at the speedometer. You're driving your local area. And then around drive 3 or 4, depending on your ability. You're usually going to freeway or around drive 5. I try to parallel park each drive. I try to do figure eights at your local high school, figure eights in your local neighborhood, because steering control in tight spaces is a struggle for all beginning drivers. So it's called gradual exposure. And as we gradually expose you, you will improve. Let's keep going. So a lot of people speed on freeways, as you'll find out. What I want you to do is drive in that middle lane. Your instructor will teach you how to merge onto the freeway, keeping your speed up, but a lot of you will go too slow. If it's 70, you'll go 50. You are the problem. And Drew, they like you, but they're mad at you, Drew, because drivers don't want to slow down. Alexis, they like you, but you used a wrong blinker. You confused a semi-truck. Maverick, they like you, but you looked over the wrong shoulder and had on the wrong blinker. Guys, we all love you, but you're confusing. You're probably saying, what are you saying? Beginning drivers get confused. It happened to my driver yesterday. The light was red. He still was on the gas. And I'm saying, Jace, are you going to stop? And I had to hit the brake. It was his last drive. So he was confused. You will be confused. And if you scare your mom and dad, they're not going to drive with you. I won't see you in 3 months because you scare mom and dad. Mom and dad might scream or clock your tea or make a mean face and you start crying or get all nervous. Or your brother's going to say, I don't want to die. Or your sister says, I don't want to die. And you know how your little brother or sister is. So you really have to prove to yourself first, your mom, your dad, that you can be trusted. And I'm not at home in your house, but if you don't clean your room or don't do good grades or don't cut the grass, why should I, as a parent, get you in the car and train you? You got to give to receive, okay? Really. So you got to prove it. You're proving it to me, but you got to prove it to your parents. So teens and elderly are the biggest groups that have accidents. Teens because you don't have experience. Elderly because your reaction time is slower. You may have some cognitive delay, right? You as beginning drivers, you're going to have cognitive delay too. It's called information overload. Your mom says go. Your dad says stop. He didn't look. You stop on the green light. And then a semi-truck goes, and then you jump. Okay? So, or you go downtown and there are 100 people down there. It's a tourist area. You're overloaded. You see a nice car. You see one of your friends. A song comes on. You just missed a light. It happens to all of us. So you have to learn to focus on what is important. Takeaway, even if a pedestrian is jaywalking, you still have to yield to them. And people will walk between cars, which is very scary. People walk in front of a car, which is scary. Pedestrians walk behind the car, and little kids, they'll just dart out. So you really have to be ultra aware. Every time you drive, you are tested on your cognitive ability, on your defensive driving skills. There's a group of about 6 kids Hi, Myles. Hi, Myles. And they're running up to the car. They're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And I'm saying, hold on. Please let me pull in the driveway. And then my dog is barking. She's barking. She wants to see me. She'll run out in the street. I don't want anyone hurt. Okay, so I have to like focus on not crashing, focus going up in the driveway. They want to run up, see me. Okay, and that's fine, but let me get home safely. You're going to have that when you drive. Takeaway, I learned no matter what, keep your driving, keep from being distracted. You have to hear and see, but process safety. Again, you have to hear and see. You're in your school zone. You're driving to school. All your friends are like, hey, hey, hey. And you're driving and your dad is like, stay focused. Or your mom is like, stay focused. So your friends are mad and they're taking a video of you. And you're trying not to crash and you're trying to show your mom and dad that, can I get the car on Friday? You can't even park. You are going sideways looking at your friend. So you really have to like focus. Okay, so distractions are really critical. Good job, Bryce. I like that. Takeaway, learn to driving is hard. It requires a lot of effort. There is a lot of things you don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know. You know, why do traffic lights change really fast? You're driving a self-driving car, but the sensor's dirty and the car goes off the road. What do? You're on black ice. You didn't know you're on black ice. What do? There's a semi-truck driver coming from Canada who's really tired. You're in a traffic backup. They are still moving. And you're saying, is this truck going to stop? Is this truck going to stop? And you change lanes. We learned about microsleep episodes. School bus drivers, young drivers, long-range semi-truck drivers. So when you get out there, there's risk. We talked about risk. Risk is everywhere, in your school zone, in your neighborhood. You as a young driver, you as an old driver, a mom or dad with 2 little babies in the car, they're crying. A mom or dad has 0 sleep. You got to work. You got to take them to daycare. You got to get to work on time. Your parents have done this. I've done it. It's work. Your parents will say, you're taking your brother to daycare. What? The daycare opens at 6. You want the car? Okay, mom and dad, get up. You're tired. You're like, do I really want to drive? You really want to drive, but the other half of you says you want to sleep. If you want to drive, you got to get up, take a shower, get yourself ready, get your brother or sister ready. That's right. You got to clean them up, throw them in the shower, get them dressed. Your parents are putting the what you're probably saying, mom and dad, that's your job. No, it's the family's job. You want to drive to school? You get your brother or sister ready to go. You drop them off at daycare. But mom and dad, I got to be to school at 10:15. You want the car? Okay. And then you get mad. So your parents are going to put that. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. So you will learn to focus and control your emotions. I learned that each road sign means a divergent diamond, roundabouts, wrong way. We need to see the road sign AAA video. Remind me of that. We got to see it. If you hit a pedestrian, you're going to go to jail. They're going to look at video. They're going to look at all the cameras in all the shops. Did you yield? Did you slow down? Or were you distracted and on your phone? And then when you go to court, they're going to subpoena the phone company to get your phone records. And if you're on the phone and hit someone, you're at fault. Okay, so no one can hide and sneak anymore. Let's keep going. Takeaway, I learned that if you are parking in a lot, the speed limit is not posted. It's right around 10, but I would go 7. I would go 5. Guys, you go to high school. You know your parking lot is a hot mess in the morning. You know your parking lot is a hot mess after school. Wait until it's clean. No, I want to be first out. I'm sorry, the senior's first out. And you're a freshman or a sophomore. You got to wait your turn. But I got to go pick up my brother or sister. The senior is first out. The seniors are first out. One of them are going to block you. So you don't control your life. Other things around you impact your life. Your teacher, your principal, your mom, your dad, your driving instructor. We all want you to be successful, right? So you got to be really careful in parking lots. I learned that registration is proof of ownership. If you don't have your registration, the police officer may think this car is stolen. License, registration, and proof of insurance. You have to have those documents. If not, there's a problem. But some of you won't have it because you're too lazy to go to Secretary of State, or you don't open your mail, or you forgot to pay your bill. It does happen. Takeaway accountability is very important. Some of you don't understand accountability. You say accountability, but you show up late. You say accountability, but you're running lights. You say accountability, but you're taking cold medication and driving. So accountability is earned over time. You as a freshman, I'm your teacher. Do you come in on time? Do you try to leave early? Do you say, I gotta use the bathroom, I gotta use the bathroom, and you stay for 20 minutes playing in the hallway, posting videos. And then one of my students says, you know that kid that you sent out? I saw his video of him in the bathroom fighting. And then I'm gonna forward it to the principal and the counselor. Because we know your tricks. I'm a school teacher. There are cameras every single place except in the bathroom. There are cameras. You're hiding around the corner. I see it all the time. I'm an educator. Takeaway, with the level 2 license, you have one person. You're limited to the number of people in the car because each person causes a distraction. So I thought it was solid. We did some good information. Okay, you're going to start your quizzing now. Good luck. So we're talking about accountability. We're talking about vision. So this is your masterclass right now. This is you putting in work. And then I'm your instructor, so you need to go ahead and ask questions, and I want you to be successful. So first, dashboard fixation. Beginning drivers stare at the dashboard. They stare at the speedometer. They stare at the gas. I used to stare at the gas gauge. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to run out of gas. But then I almost ran a light. So don't stare at the speedometer. Next, white knuckle. I would really grab the wheel when it's raining, or driving in a roundabout or a divergent diamond. Those things are very scary. So you have to understand that you're going into an area that's really dangerous. People are confused. Someone could be driving on the wrong side of the road. Mirror blindness. A lot of beginning drivers have the mirror set wrong. A car comes by from behind them, boom, that white light goes into their eyes. They're blinded for a few minutes. You need to look to the right edge of the road. It's called the edge line or fog line. Next, curb sharing, looking at the right curb instead of looking through the turn. A lot of beginners, I'm looking to the right. This is me looking down at the curb. Don't do that. Look ahead, like you walking down the street on the sidewalk. Do you look at the cracks? Do you look at the edge? Who edged your yard? I edge my yard. The OG down the street, he's got the championship, right? But you've got to learn to look ahead. Next, sign overload. You're going into a small city. Here's the name of the city. Do not enter, wrong way, no U-turn. All these signs will overload you. Going to downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Detroit, Michigan, downtown Los Angeles, California. There's a lot of information that you will have, and you will be overloaded. Being overloaded happens all the time, but I'm a trained professional. Your mom and dad are not. They're going to start talking to you like you're 6 years old. They're going to say, you remember when you were in 5th grade? Mom, I'm in high school. Dad, I'm in high school. So, but they're reflecting. We're holding on to our memories, right? Because you're growing up. Some of your parents don't want you to grow up. They want to hold you at a certain area. Let's keep moving. Night bloom, dealing with the starburst effect of streetlights that can cause you not to be able to see. These drivers won't be driving at night. Trust me, gang, they're going to have a struggle when you drive at night. You're going to be overloaded. You're going to be overwhelmed. So you want to make sure that you have gradual exposure. Your parents should gradually take you out. Let's keep going. Intersection hesitation. Let's go to your high school. Let's go to your community college. Let's go to the end of your block. One person's going to have to speed up. One person's going to have to slow down. What are you going to do? Knock off your neighbor? I'm sorry, Fran. Bam. You just knocked down an old lady, bro. What's wrong with you? I'm sorry. So You have to yield, and whoever gets there first goes first. But a lot of people don't pay attention. Next, A-pillar obstruction. Your A-pillar holds the windshield. Your A-pillar holds the back window. You've got to lean and look. You got to lean and look. If you really want to be that good, solid driver, it takes time. Time, to put in work. It takes time to look at all these videos. It takes time to prepare yourself. Next, motor-free visual perception. Lane width perception. A lot of beginners hug the left. You're going to get your mirror knocked off because you have the double yellow or broken yellow line. A lot of beginners hug the right. You're going to fall off the edge of the road. I had drivers literally drive into the ditch. This masterclass will give you the information you need to be highly successful. But you've got to look at each video, you've got to leave comments, and then I'll reply back to your comments. Let's continue. Sequencing, understanding the order of lights: green, yellow, red. Green, yellow, red. Green, yellow, red. Green is at the bottom, yellow is in the middle, red is at the top. A lot of beginners don't understand, just like my student yesterday. He literally ran a light. If I didn't stop him and I gave him milliseconds, 1001, 1002, 1003, I had to hit the brake. What are you doing? I'm sorry. That's how an injury accident happens. I'm telling you the truth. I don't want that to happen to you. Next, position by space, judging exactly where your bumper ends up during a tight parallel park. I had Brooklyn, who has cerebral palsy. She was parallel parking yesterday, and she did pretty good. Remember, she has hand controls. Her left hand is a spinner knob, right? She has a spinner knob at the 11 o'clock position. She's left hand dominant. She has her hand. And let's pretend this is her hand control. Up is to the brake, back is to the gas. I told her, go in slow. So she's got to push this up and turn her wheel. So for us, we just hold the brake and turn the wheel. She has double the things to do, and that's quite stressful, but she did parallel park, right? More on her later. Mental rotation, visualizing how the car will fit in the spot before you turn the wheel. A lot of beginners go off on the grass to their neighbor's house, sideswipe mom and dad's car. Parents, you've got to really teach your son and daughter. You got to put more work in. I'm just being real with you because I talk to your sons and daughters. A third of you are not putting work in. Before you clock my tea and give me hate, put the work in with your son or daughter. I'm tired. You're tired. We work. We're trying to provide. Guys, I worked over 100 hours the last 2 weeks. My family will be rewarded. We're paying bills. We're doing what we need to do. I'm working every day, but you've got to take care of yourself, okay? We parents, we love to work, but don't forget, you got a son or daughter looks just like you, acts just like you. I know, right? So we got to put in work. Next, rate of closure, calculating how fast you're going. A lot of beginners misjudge. They're going to stop in the intersection, past the stop line, in the crosswalk, or they stop 5 cars back. So you literally have to teach these elements. There's an opportunity. Next, interposition, knowing the car is closer because it covered part of the car behind it. A lot of beginners don't know that. An example would be your son or daughter's cutting the grass. They're cutting the sidewalk. Your son or daughter can't make straight lines in the grass because they're turning the wheel back and forth. Interposition is really important. Knowing a car is closer because it's covering part of the car behind it. Okay, next, typography orientation. I have some students drive home, but wait, mom and dad, they don't know how to drive home. Why? They've been on their phone since day 0. They need to be sitting in the front with you, watching you, learning from you, and some students do that. 1 in 5, 2 in 10. they should be watching you. And around 13 or 14, they need to be in the front seat watching. How do you reverse park? How do you parallel park? How do you back in with that trailer? I always talk to parents because I want to build that personal relationship. That's who I am. Next, visual integration, combining speed and distance into one single safe-to-go decision. My student driver failed that yesterday. The light was clearly red, 5 cars in front of us. He was doing 45 within a 3-car distance. He didn't see the light. We were going to run the light. That's scary and dangerous, and that's lack of awareness. And I have to teach them, Mom and Dad, you need to be asking questions. Is my son or daughter ready? It depends on the day. Is my son or daughter ready to understand the rules of the road? It depends on the day. In your driver's education class, I'm a State Certified Driving Instructor, 24-year plus of experience, taught over 24K students. Every student is different. And I think you need to have those conversations with the instructor. I always talk to parents afterwards. I make them get out of the car. So if I'm teaching your son or daughter, come here. I'm going to tell you the good things. I'm going to tell you the bad things. And some parents don't want to hear it. Some parents never got out of the car because they're not connected with their son or daughter. True. I've seen it all the time. And there are more divorced families too. Divorce is going way up. Symmetry detection. Noticing if a trailer ahead is tilting or off balance. A lot of beginner drivers don't understand. Next, pattern recognition. Recognizing that one car brakes, there are 3 other cars behind it that will brake too. Kids don't recognize patterns. So you've got to teach them each element as they drive. Pick 3 or 4 elements. Today, we're going to learn about pattern recognition, honey. What does that mean? Okay, when a light turns green, the first car starts to move, the second car starts to move, the third car, and then we start moving. Okay, pattern recognition. We're the 7th car getting ready to merge onto the freeway. The first car's picking up. You need to start picking up speed. The second car's picking up. You need to start picking up speed because beginning drivers have a very slow reaction to the elements around them. And that slowness, could get them hit, could cause them to be in danger. So you always need to be thinking ahead, 2 cars, 3 cars. Parents, you need to have that parental beacon, right? And you need to know who's to the left of you. Who's to the right of you? Who's in front of you? Who's behind you? And you need to assist your son and daughter in recognizing patterns to stay safe. If they're in a group of cars that are going 80, 90, 100, and you notice, my son or daughter's driving 95. My son or daughter's driving 100. Don't start screaming at them, slow down. Son or daughter, lift your foot off the gas. You'll start dropping speed down, increasing your following distance. Depth of motion, using the sinking of a car's taillights, the shrinking of a car's taillights to determine, son, you're going too slow. Okay, daughter, you're going too fast. So they want to have and need a minimum of a 3-second following distance. And that 3-second following distance is critical. You pick a stationary object, a tree, a car, the police car, right? 0, 1001, 1002, 1003. If they have at least a 3-second following distance, you're pretty safe. Cognitive mapping, remembering the layout of a complex turn, divergent diamond, roundabout, parallel parking. Those things are critical, okay? I didn't put the question together. Don't worry, we'll look at it and we'll break it down. So make a mental note, AJ, and we'll look at it in the booklet. So find the number, we'll look at it. That's important. Thank you, AJ. So it's really important that we all continue to look at it and put it together and analyze information. I want to say thank you, subscribe. Bye.